What's up, YouTube? Michael here. Had a couple of subscribers who want to update. Tell me I ain't making enough videos, need more content, so kind of give you an update on the Dirty Bird here. And I had those aerospace brakes that I bought, custom brakes. Well, they didn't fit, so that kind of threw a wrench into my deal there. So I contacted the chassis company that I bought the brakes from. He said, no problem, I know exactly what you need. You know, I told him what rear end, what axle ends I had on it, the whole thing. And he said no problem. So I paid him. Took like probably 6 weeks, and I asked him one time, I said, hey, you know, can I get a tracking number or something? He said, well, these are custom brakes coming straight from aerospace, it's not off the shelf or anything like that. So okay, fair enough. When I got them, I wasn't in a hurry. All the tracks were closed, so they just sat around for a while. I finally got around to putting them on, and I'll be damned, they don't fit. Imagine that. I contact the chassis company, and through Facebook Messenger I sent him some pictures and say, hey man, what do you think about this? And he didn't reply, so I waited, give it a day, and I messaged him again and said, yo, did you get my pictures? He replied and said, yeah, to contact Aerospace Components. So I was kind of like, dang, I mean, I bought them from you. Why do I have to call Aerospace? And you know, what's this going to cost me? You know, do I have to, you know, time and shipping, freight, whatever? So I said, you know what, I'm not even gonna argue with this guy. So I called Aerospace and I spoke with them, and they told me what measurements to take. And you know, I explained to them the whole situation. I said, you know, I feel like this gentleman here should cover this. You know, how's this gonna affect me? And they were like, you know, just ship them to us and we'll spin them on the lathe real quick, cut them down, and get them shipped back to you. And I was like, well, I mean, I can do that. It didn't take a rocket scientist to look at it and see what it needed. The hat just needed to be cut down. So I just went ahead and took my calipers, took a whole bunch of measurements, did some math, and sent the hats over to my cousin, and he spun them on a brake lathe. I think we cut off like 115 thousandths or something, and got them installed and everything. Got some brake lines made. They work fine, they fit fine, they clear fine. But that whole thing just upset me, and I didn't feel like making videos and stuff. You know, it's frustrating when something like that happens, because you know, I bought it from this chassis shop and I feel like he should have owned responsibility for it. Even Aerospace Components said, they pulled up the invoice or the order form from him and said, okay, this is the measurement he gave us, this is what we cut them to. So I was like, well, that's not what they are. So I don't know what happened there, but needless to say, I won't be doing business with that particular chassis shop ever again. But with that being said, once the brakes were on, I got my new beadlocks in. You know, that's them there. Billet Specialties double beadlocks. When I measured my back spacing, I just went off of the current wheels that I had, which were 10¼ inch wide. And you know, I looked in the inside, looked at the outside, made sure I had all the clearance I need. So I went ahead and ordered a 12-inch with a 6.5 inch backspace when I had a 10¼ by 5.5 backspace. So it would have essentially added an inch inside and outside. Would have been perfect. Well, what I didn't compensate for was the beadlocks shrinking the 15-inch diameter down considerably. So they wouldn't even go on. They're hitting the pan hard bar bracket, they're hitting the lower control arm brackets. It was a whole lot more work than I anticipated. I thought I was just going to throw them on there and be done, and that was my mistake. I own that. So I went ahead and did all that, did a bunch of modifications, basically modified the control arm brackets that were on this rear end, basically notched it, which I'll show you here shortly. But while doing that, I went ahead and lowered or made extensions onto the lower control arm bracket. That way I could lower the car down and achieve the same lower control arm angle. So I guess we'll go ahead and get it up in the air and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I got some new bolts too, so these are just tucked in here right now. But basically this hole is the factory hole, this is the hole I added. So this hole went straight through the other side and the bracket kind of followed that configuration on the other side. And as you can see, if it was this low on this side, it's going to hit the bead locks. You know, there was nothing I could do about it. I just notched it over, took out the spacers because I have offset lower control arm spacers to clear the other wheels I had. So I just took those spacers out and slid the control arm over maybe a 1/4 inch, and you know, I just braced the hell out of it so that it won't tear off when I launch. Same thing on this side, and I had to weld a plate in here on the panhard bar bracket and basically cut and notch the back side of it out to clear the beadlock bolt heads. And then after all that was done, the wheels fit, everything was good, but my tire to lower control arm right here was like a 1/4 inch, which is fine, okay, no big deal. But then I started thinking, what about when I leave the line and the tires are wrinkling? You know, I assume that could be over a 1/4 inch, maybe up to an inch, I don't know. And that's not going to hurt anything, you know, to wear the paint off the control arm and scuff the tire up. As long as there's no sharp edges, it's not going to hurt anything. But I was worried that it would upset the chassis, you know, maybe the tire tried to climb up the control arm, I don't know. So I did order 1/4 inch spacers. So it currently has 1/4 inch wheel spacers. But it's all good now, all done. Like I said, the car is slammed. It's back as low as what it was when I originally got the car up and running, and I couldn't get it to hook for nothing because my lower control arm angle was like 1 degree. So we then lifted the car, raised the car up, raised the suspension up all the way around like 2 inches. Spent like 2-3 hours one day measuring a whole bunch of stuff, plotting out the suspension, like camshaft center line, torque arm angles, finding the instant center. My buddy Will, he's really good with suspension, so he helped me with all that, and we got the angle where we thought it was going to work at, and it worked real well. So now that the car is lowered with the lower hole, I have more lower control arm angle than what I had when the car was 2 inches higher. So I'm actually going to have to, it was about 3 inches higher than it is now. So probably still have to make some more changes, have to lower the front back down, because right now it's got a little bit more angle than what we want, or we'll have to raise the back up a little bit. But that's the progress on the car. And I got some other things going on too. A friend of mine, Mike, he's got a S10 Blazer with a 350 in it. Had a solid tappet cam in it, and we just pulled that out this weekend, putting a solid roller in it. Got some triple springs on it. This is pretty cool. You never have to do this kind of stuff with an LS engine, but this is basically a race prep small block Chevy. As you can see, the valley has all been polished and smoothed out, all the castings gone. He's got screens epoxied in the corner, so it's pretty cool, just the extent and the things that you used to have to do on the older Chevy engines versus what you do now. It seems like nowadays you just put a big ass turbo on them and let it eat. So there's my update on the Dirty Bird. I still have to move the wastegates, which I plan on doing that shortly, now that I did not anticipate having to do everything that I had to do on the rear end here to fit the brakes and the wheels. That was, you know, I didn't anticipate that, so that was a major setback. Kind of took the wind out of my sails, but now I just got to move the wastegates and hook up the CO2 and get that all tuned in. I think I can probably give you a real good shot now of the angles and why I couldn't control boost. See, so the flow of exhaust comes out and it basically has to make a 90-degree turn there to vent and control boost. And on this side, you know, it's already in a corner 90-degree off. So, and I kind of have an idea of where I'm gonna put them, but that should be real fun, trying to move them into a more efficient spot. So that's it for this video. Hopefully I can get some videos with some more action or actually making something. I should have filmed the lower control arms, but like I said, it was just frustrating for me, and I'm really glad I didn't start making videos with the whole brake situation and the chassis shop that pretty much told me to kick rocks. You know, thanks for their percentage of the profit, whatever their margins are, and told me, you know, good luck with that. So I was pretty upset about that, but hopefully we'll have some good footage coming up. And thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, share it, and we'll see you next time.